Hey, so it's day, I don't know, 55 maybe, and feeling a little disillusioned. Feeling a lot disillusioned, and it seems like some of that came from feeling good about the challenge. Last weekend or so, I was getting a flow, I was enjoying creating things, I was putting a lot of time into them, and then I added this extra component of doing work every day, daily music task. Great idea, Jess. But basically what that's done is kind of suck the joy out of my life, which then, if I don't feel joyful, I actually have a really hard time writing songs. Oops, part 2. They're very time consuming. If I were to try to do every day's song well, or even average, I found I can do this daily thing every day in a little over an hour, start to finish, if I don't care about how I do it. I just write one song and then I have to edit the vocals together because I sing so quietly, so that's an extra handicap. And then, yeah. But then I'm not really getting much out of it, and yeah, maybe I never admitted that, but my secret ulterior motive is that if I become more public about my songwriting, I'll start, rather than just casually saying like, hey, I write hundreds of songs a year, but a lot of them are terrible, and having ones that I like and a lot that are sloppy, I'm secretly hoping to use this as a way to start minding it a little bit more, that so many of them are so sloppy, or that I'm not putting effort into any production. So that's why I've been getting better at Pro Tools and all of that. But anyway, back to the point of this. So this is a check-in. So as a check-in video, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm struggling right now because I'm in Grand Rapids today and seeing some of my friends, seeing some shows, and it's only like 40 minutes from where I live, but there's an incredible music scene developing. Well, it's already been developed here in Grand Rapids, and it's edgy and interesting, and sometimes when I pay too much attention to my friends or acquaintances who are part of this scene, I start to feel like some strange little lullaby puffball up in the clouds misfit, and like I don't belong anywhere, and like I certainly don't belong in the area that I live. And this is frustrating for me because it can create grass is always greener syndrome, where then I start to imagine that there might be another place where there's people more like me. But I lived in Chicago for almost a decade, and I don't think I ever met anybody there writing music like what I was writing, and my music hasn't even stayed the same. And even in the genre I was playing more in, maybe a little more like warped cabaret or Regina Spektor-ish or something like that, back in Chicago, I don't think that I was finding a bunch of people that sounded like that there. And now I'm writing this like lullaby, floaty, sometimes dark ambient piano based stuff. But at the end of the day, I guess I'm learning. I don't want to admit this on a video, but it would probably help me in my future reference when I look back on these check-in videos. It's right around now that I realized that people don't really want to listen to one instrument, one voice anymore. It's not really a thing in the industry. Even people who perform solo usually loop, or they add cool sequencing and stuff like that. And historically, I've been really defiant and have a hard time learning new things, which is funny because, I studied piano all the way up to playing Fantasy Impromptu Chopin and, a 30-page Bach concerto, and I don't even like Bach, and, I'm clearly teachable, but if I'm honest about the history of what I've been taught, I'm very resistant while I'm learning things. So it's been helpful having check-in videos as a way to admit things. So I'm hoping to go a little bit more in the direction of, you know, whether it's just synth drums or sequencing or doing stuff myself or asking some of my friends that are really amazing at it. You know, I know people in one woman and 2 women. Okay, sorry. I ran out of space again. I'm not as good at deleting things off my phone lately. Partly because I used to upload the data to Instagram. And now I haven't been doing that as much. So I've been saving. I'm thinking I might do it. And then I just don't lately. I've been more discouraged lately. Also because there have been some really hard things going on this week. More from my boyfriend and his friends than me. But still. Anyway. So as I was saying, yeah, I know amazing performers who perform solo or as 2-piece and like very full, very amazingly full sounding stuff. So yes, I should probably admit that I need to be teachable and learn some more things because I actually really like using like synth and space sounds and all kinds of weird things. I just haven't figured out or learned how to do it in a live performance setting yet. So, working on that. What else? I think that's about it. That's my main check-in. But yeah, I've just been feeling kind of guilty and kind of bad that my songs have been so sad lately, even though it was because of specific things that happened this week, which has made me a little less excited about the challenge and feeling a little worse about sharing what I share and not wanting to really promote it. But I guess I kind of figured that would be part of this, that I wouldn't always feel comfortable with what I was sharing. So that's what this week has been. And yeah. Still glad to be doing it, but it is hard. It's hard from a vulnerability perspective, and I think sometimes I delude myself into thinking that I like being vulnerable just because I see the value in being vulnerable, and instead the reality is just that I see the value in being vulnerable. Like, that's how we grow. But I do think, you know, for anybody, it's uncomfortable being vulnerable about things that you don't yet have figured out. It's humbling and sometimes humiliating. Even if nobody's watching, it's just humiliating to constantly butt up against your own limitations and realize that some of them are ones that you're putting there for yourself for no reason. And I wanna keep working at not doing that. Or anyway, I don't know. I'm just rambling. Hope you're well, and hope these have been useful to you in some way. And had a really nice day in Grand Rapids. It's a really cool town. I know like way too many insanely cool people who live here, and I don't come in often enough, especially in the winter. But yeah, I hope, not only do I like to come here often, I hope to bring more of them out to the lakeshore where I live, to play house shows and yeah, or at the breweries in the area, because yeah, it's just a cool little network of an area. After living in Chicago, I feel like, you know, you could live an hour apart from people in Chicago and still be all considered in Chicago. And same with New York. I used to live there briefly, well, a couple of years. I feel like this area kind of could feel like that. It kind of does feel like that, but there isn't necessarily a unified name for it. I guess West Michigan. Anyway, what am I talking about? Bye. Love you. Have a good day.